welcome back to Presley Mania. My name is Rhonda. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. I appreciate you being here. If you have not done so and you like what you see, be sure and subscribe to my channel and hit that like button because it helps other people, bumps my show up a little bit on YouTube and gives other people more of a chance to see it. The more of you who like it, the more they share it. So thank you so much for that. So today we are going to be talking about, as I alluded to last week, the court case in Orange County, Florida that Bridget Kruse has brought against Priscilla Presley. This case, my goodness, I have got almost 2 binders full of court documents on this case. So what we are going to be going over today is Priscilla is asking that this case be dismissed. These documents that we will be reviewing on today's show are Priscilla's attempt it says, she filed this reply in further support of her motion to dismiss. She's saying that they have no jurisdictional authority over her in Florida because she is a California resident, and she's also given her declaration, another one. So we're going to go over that. And if you did not hear Bridget's second amended complaint, if you will go to the videos that I have listed, go to my channel, Presley Mania, and if you click on the channel, you'll be able to get a list of my videos. And then you can go down and you can see all of the ones I have done and find the one about Bridget and the second amended complaint, so you will know what we're talking about on this show. There's so much to go over that I don't have time to go back. Otherwise, we would be here for hours and hours. So anyway, I am going to delve right into Priscilla's declaration. We're going to start talking about it. And I do want to make a couple of points before I get started. My channel is dedicated to preserving the legacy of Elvis and Lisa Marie. And what's going on here, it's just taking away from him, in my opinion. But it's also shining light on things that we have known and expected for quite some time out of Priscilla, and Bridget's the one who's doing that. Now, let me say this too, because Priscilla has filed that retaliatory suit against Bridget in California, and some of these documents that we're going to be going over today, she has attached them as exhibits, some of the California documents from that case. So we're going to get a little look into all of that as well. But I want you guys to know that I am not Team Bridget. I am not Team Priscilla. Do I hope that Priscilla gets called out on this? Heck yeah, I do. Of course I do. It's been a long time coming, in my opinion. And this show is, the opinions I state are mine and mine alone. And they're for entertainment purposes only. So if you don't agree, that's okay. I'm all right with that. I've had some not agree with everything I say, and that's fine. But these are my opinions and the way I see things. I feel like Priscilla's gotten away with a lot for far too long, and I would like to see some of that stopped. Also, that being said, I don't feel like Bridget is completely innocent either. I think there are things on both sides that are not right. And what I was trying to say last week is, when I was talking about some of the statements that Bridget has made, is that knowingly, yeah, she has brought some receipts and some emails and some texts and you've been able to see some of that. But my whole point is this, okay? She helped Priscilla. She helped her in that suit against Riley, right? That suit wasn't just against Riley. It was against Harper. It was against Finley. It was going completely against Lisa Marie's wishes. Okay? Bridget knew all along, she was privy to all of that Lisa Marie had signed and changed her trust, taking her mother off as a trustee, putting Riley on. Everybody knew about that. Everybody knew about it. Priscilla knew about it. And then she pulls her, oh, but I didn't know card. Okay? And yet, despite whether it's right or whether it's wrong, Bridget helped Priscilla initiate that suit, work in that suit, work to come to a settlement on that suit that benefited who? Priscilla Presley. That's the point, is that I don't believe either one of them are innocent. So, that being said, let's delve into what's going on here. This is Priscilla's declaration of responding to the Orange County, Florida suit. We are going to be referring back and forth between this suit and the California suit. So it may get a little confusing, and if you are confused, be sure and shoot me a comment. I will try to clarify it for you. I don't answer every single comment, but if there's a question, I do try and answer them, and I may miss some. My apologies if I miss yours, but I really do look at them and try to take care of the questions that are asked. Okay, so declaration of Priscilla Presley. And it starts off with the same thing she does every single time, that she's more than 18 years of age and that she has personal knowledge of the facts and blah, blah, blah. And if she's called as a witness, she can testify. Starts every single time. Okay. And she says, this is regarding the pending California lawsuit for elder abuse, but she's addressing it in the Orange County suit. Are we clear as mud? Because I would be so confused if I didn't have it right here in front of me. Okay, I am the plaintiff, I being Priscilla, am the plaintiff in a pending lawsuit in California against Bridget Kruse, Kevin Fialco, and I never say his name right, Sicilian, who is Kruse's husband and business partner, Lynn Walker Wright, and Priscilla Presley Partners, LLC. In the California lawsuit, I am suing these defendants for elder abuse. Okay. Based on their campaign of wrongful acts designed to defraud me. I was in my late 70s at the time. By gaining my trust, isolating me from my key advisors, and duping me into believing that the defendants were going to advise and look out for me financially, when in reality they sought to and did transfer my assets to themselves. Okay, I'm going to keep going and then I'm going to comment, because I'm sorry, I just find that absolutely ludicrous. I'm going to just keep going. In August 2023, upon my discovery of defendant's plan, my attorney sent Kruse a cease and desist letter advising her of my intent to protect my rights. Shortly thereafter, some of the companies controlled by Kruse that she used to take advantage of me financially rushed to the courthouse in Florida to file a preemptive action in an attempt to avoid being sued in California. I filed a motion to dismiss that complaint based on lack of personal jurisdiction, which the Florida company plaintiffs then amended. I filed a subsequent motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction, and the Florida company plaintiffs then changed their lawyers and yet filed another amended complaint. I filed the instant motion to dismiss, which is pending. Funny story here. Bridget and her husband did the same exact thing. They filed that California has no jurisdiction over them, so they're both kind of claiming the same thing here. And it addresses it here in item 6. Each of the defendants has filed a motion to dismiss the complaint in the California proceeding for lack of personal jurisdiction. So I guess if the shoe fits for Priscilla, it can fit for Bridget as well. They can use the same thing. However, that motion has been denied. They do have personal jurisdiction apparently over them. And the judge has ruled that, the suit's going to go ahead. Anyway, Priscilla goes on and says, talks about how that they were denied and blah, 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 the motions. Okay, so we're going to skip over a little bit. And she says in item number 8, item number 7, let's go back to that. She talks about some exhibits in their motion to dismiss that she has listed, exhibits C and D, and we're going to go over some of the stuff that's in those because that is interesting. So in those declarations, I attested to the fact that defendants' elder abuse scheme was employed in and targeted me in California, and I included a plethora of evidence on that point. As I have attested on multiple occasions, Kruse's claim that I approached her and Fialco and asked them to help manage my finances is false. Kruse and Fialco injected themselves into my life and duped me into giving them access and control over my finances. Kruse claims that I was one of the individuals who decided to form 4 LLCs to own, manage, and exploit my name, image, and likeness is false. I had no part in that idea or its execution. I didn't know. It was done by Kruse, Fialco, and Wright. And I was asked to sign a number of papers in a marathon signing session when I received no guidance as to the import of the documents. Kruse's claim that I brought in Wright to serve as my counsel and that Kruse had no prior relationship with Wright is false. As Wright attested to in the same declaration relied on by Kruse, she did represent Kruse in a personal capacity before she purportedly represented me, and Kruse suggested I use her as my counsel, knowing that there would be an obvious conflict of interest in having her also represent the entities at issue. Kruse's deception in connection with the foregoing is at the heart of my lawsuit in California for elder abuse. Okay, well, let's stop right there because that talks about the elder abuse stuff in California. All right. Priscilla is saying that they elder abused her because they took over her finances. She had no idea they were forming these companies, but yet she signed every single document. Now, common sense would seem to take over here because I don't think Priscilla is stupid, not by any stretch of the imagination. And she's using what she has always used. Oh, but I didn't know. But here's a newsflash for her, okay? According to Lynn Walker Wright's deposition, she went over every single item with her, and they videotaped it. I want to see that videotape. I hope that it's released at some point. I would love to see it, where she is saying, where she goes over, you're signing this, you're signing that, and Lynn even said in her deposition that Priscilla seemed to already know all about all this. So which is it? Whatever works to her benefit, in my opinion. Okay, I want to skip over to Exhibit D that she referenced here because, like I said, there is some really good information. I don't want to lose my place. There are so many things that time will not allow me to go into all of them. But she says just a couple of items that I found really interesting. Priscilla says that Kruse demanded that she be a signatory on all my California-based bank accounts. Really? And later I discovered that she improperly transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars from those California bank accounts to herself. Okay. What in the world? Well, if you didn't want her to have access, whether Brigitte, however you want to say her name, I call her Bridget, whether she transferred the money or not, right now, I have no idea. Although, according to Bridget, Priscilla transferred money from their Florida bank accounts for these companies to herself. If you don't want someone to have access to your accounts, fun fact, don't add them as a signer. Doesn't that make perfect sense? Because then they can't take your money. I mean, that is only, I mean, that's accounting 101, right? You know, I'm sorry, when I opened up my first checking account, I was the only person on there as a signer. If I did not want somebody having access to my funds, then I kept it as just me. Why did she not do that? Did she trust her that much? Then what about the other claims that they asserted themselves into her life? Something's not adding up to me. Okay, let's go on. Kruse made every effort to inject herself into a family issue that I was having when my daughter, Lisa Marie, unexpectedly passed away in January of 2023, including, but not limited to, by making multiple unrequested trips to California to meet with me, interfering with legal negotiations and a resulting settlement agreement, and causing strife between me and my granddaughter who lives in Los Angeles. Okay, I think I mentioned this last week. There is no strife between me and Riley. I did not file a suit against Riley. I did not sue my granddaughter. Lie, lie, lie. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And now she's saying, because it's to her benefit to look like she has been elderly abused, that Bridget, again, was making multiple unrequested trips to meet with her. Okay, fun fact number 2. If she's making the trips and you don't want to meet with her, then don't meet with her. It's that simple. It's that simple. You didn't tell me you were coming. I'm sorry, I don't have time. But here's the thing. She gave her control. Priscilla gave Bridget power of attorney. Bridget worked on the suit with Riley, and this is the whole point I was trying to make last week. Okay? Bridget knew about all of the problems between Priscilla and between Lisa Marie. Priscilla says right here that she caused strife between her and her granddaughter. Bridget claims that Priscilla is the one who said, file a suit against Riley because she didn't want to be taken off as a trustee on Lisa's trust. Correct? So which one is it? Which one is it? Who do we believe? Who do you choose to believe? Are they both telling a tall tale? Or is one of them speaking the truth? I personally think that in this case, I'm going to go with Bridget, because I think that she was asked to help Priscilla. I think Priscilla asked her. Bridget okayed it. Do I think that was right? No. I think That's when Bridget should have stood up, like I said last week, that her moral compass should have said, I am done. I am done. I am not doing this. This is too much. You're taking money away from your grandchild. You're going against your daughter's wishes. But was there something in doing all of this that maybe was going to benefit Bridget? Did she do it just out of the goodness of her heart? Or was she going to get something in return? We don't know. But that's a thought. That's something to think about. Okay? She goes on to say, Kruse regularly communicated with me in California about purported business opportunities that she wanted me to approve in order to bring in additional revenue that would go to companies that she controlled. Companies that she controlled, that Priscilla was a part of and signed off on. Make no mistake about that. Okay. Kruse and her husband and business partner, defendant Cicilline, came to Los Angeles to pick up multiple boxes of my personal property that I had in a storage facility here, based on the representation that they would agree to move and store this property in Florida at the Windmere property at no cost to me. While Kruse and Cicilline did take my property to Florida, I later learned that I was charged by them for both moving and storage. Okay, let's talk about that. They told Priscilla, according to Priscilla, that they were going to take and move this stuff. Bridget says it was at Priscilla's request that they take these items and move them from the storage facility. Okay, I have several questions. What was the stuff? Why did they take it? And then, according to Priscilla, Bridget charged her $30,000 to move these items. That's where I'm going with all of this. Do you see my point? I don't see Bridget doing anything for free here, really. She's charging Priscilla $30,000 to move some stuff to save her money. And yet, Priscilla is supposedly in financial distress. And she's going to charge her $30,000 because she loves her so much? Really? That doesn't sound like love to me. It sounds like taking financial advantage, maybe. And apparently this was a shock to Priscilla. Now, all of that is speculation on my part, but I'm throwing it out there for y'all to think about it. Mainly because I want you to see that this is not a one-sided thing. It's not, oh, poor Priscilla or oh, poor Bridget. There are issues on both sides, okay? And that's the whole point of this video, okay? Now, let's keep on going. She said, in addition to all of the in-person meetings we had to discuss Kruse's efforts to control my finances and involve herself in all aspects of my life, Kruse sent me over 2,500 text messages and emails pertaining to these issues, which I received in California. And why does she say that she received in California? It's because she does not want, her claim is Florida has no jurisdiction over her. That this case has no jurisdiction over her because she is a resident of California. That's the whole point of that. So let's get back to Priscilla's statements on my limited economic activity in Florida. Okay. Quite interesting this is. And this video again is going longer. All right. Kruse claims in her declaration that I earned upwards of $1.4 million from appearances in Florida in the past 2 years. This is provably false. As explained below, my appearances in Florida have been limited and constitute only a small percentage of my overall appearances, both in number and revenue. Okay, as the direct result of the campaign of Kruse and others to isolate me from my advisors and take control of my finances for their benefit and my detriment, oh poor Priscilla, I have had to travel much more than I would like at age 79 in order to collect appearance fees, which have been the primary source of my income in 2024. Okay, this substantiates what Bridget was saying though, right? Priscilla is having to work at the age of 79 to bring in income. Why? Because she has no money. That to me is the only reason. She says, I'm having to travel much more than I would like at the age of 79. She asked Bridget to help her. She needed financial help. Now, that's a whole nother issue. Where did the money go? I have all kinds of thoughts on that, and I'm sure many of you do too. Maybe that's something we'll get into at a later date. Okay, and she talks about the appearances that she made in California, and in Florida, and we're gonna just kind of skip all over that. And then we're gonna go to item 14, because this is another thing that just kind of substantiates the same thing that she always says. In her declaration, the Kruse declaration, in opposition to my pending motion to dismiss the complaint, Kruse claims that I earned approximately $435,000 from providing letters of recollection and consulting for auctions, and attaches a screenshot of certain bank transfers that she claims supports this allegation. First, I have no recollection of the specific bank transfers identified by Kruse, and the screenshots attached to her declaration do not indicate where the payments came from or where or what they were for. Okay, did you catch that? I have no recollection. Oh, I did not know. Oh, I did not see it. Really? Let me think. I don't know. Sound familiar? Go back to the divorce documents between Elvis and Priscilla. Nothing has changed where she is concerned. It's her same MO every single time. Okay. And then she says, second, even if these alleged transfers represented payments for work I performed in connection with Kruse's auction business, that auction business was based in California, and those transactions all occurred before Kruse drafted and duped me into signing any agreements with her pertaining to these letters of recollection. Notably, Kruse failed to identify any payments made to me for these letters of recollection after these agreements were signed. Then why'd you do it? Why'd you sign anything? I don't know. Then she goes on and she talks about how she never intended to move to Florida, but yet she signed a lease, a 5-year lease, to a house in Orlando. Now there's some question about the fact that Kruse's husband is the landlord of that property, that he owns that property. That I'm going to be anxious to see how it shakes out. Okay, so that is kind of, it goes on, and it also talks about that Lynn Walker Wright, who was the attorney that Priscilla used, and she did use her. And she used her to try and, well, the way I understand it, Priscilla needed to change some of her personal trusts and things. There's one called the Flamingo Trust and a Florida Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust for Priscilla. this is what this paragraph is talking about. So I'm going to read that to you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what happened where that's concerned. Wright recognized this in a letter she sent to Kruse and Fialco in May of 2023. Attached as Exhibit E hereto is a true and correct copy of a letter I received from Wright, which she sent to Kruse and Fialco, responding to their request to prepare a Florida irrevocable life insurance trust for me. In that letter, Wright says as follows: I am concerned about preparing a new Florida irrevocable life insurance trust for Miss P. The reason I'm saying this is because she has to swear that she is a full-time resident of Florida in the document. Every other document I have seen to date shows Miss P's address as the Los Angeles address. Okay. In fact, rather than set up a Florida trust, Kruse duped me into making her a co-trustee of several of my California trusts, which are governed by California law. I'm having a little difficulty today. I did not ask Kruse to set up bank accounts for me in Florida. To the contrary, when Fialco and Kruse took over my finances, they convinced me to close my existing bank accounts with City National Bank and open new accounts with First Republic Bank. I understood that Fialco, who lived in San Diego, had a personal relationship with a private banker at First Republic Bank in Newport Beach, California, and he opened up new bank accounts with First Republic out of that branch, assisted by First Republic bankers in Newport Beach and Costa Mesa, California. Okay, again, why do it? Why do it? Why give them authority over your bank accounts? If you didn't trust them to begin with, like you seem to be alluding to, why give them control over your money? It's just a logical question. But she did. And the question for me is, why? And I think it comes back to the fact that she was broke. And we'll explore more of that later. Okay, guys, I had wanted to read you this letter from Lynn Walker Wright on this irrevocable life insurance, but time is getting away from me, so we're going to skip over that. But it is basically, as is stated, as Priscilla states here, that she is concerned. She was concerned, and I read it, that preparing that document for her would be, maybe not in the best interest, because she's showing her primary residence to be in California because she had not physically moved to Florida, although she had leased a house. And there are tax documents that I have in these exhibits that list Priscilla's address as Florida. Now, was that for tax purposes to get some kind of break? So she didn't live there, but it was okay to use the address for tax purposes. I don't know. You tell me. Interesting, huh? All right. Well, unless something else pops up, I do have some more documents that I just pulled off today. And it has to do with the judge in the Court of California denying some things for Bridget and Kevin Fialco. So we'll probably go over those next week. I keep saying that we are going to get to the Greg McDonald book on Colonel Tom Parker, and we eventually will. But as long as there are things coming up that are current news, I feel like you guys want to be kept in the loop on those. So, and you never know, they may refer us right back to the book, and I'm pointing back here because it's right behind me. We may have to dig that out and start doing some, looking and try to figure out what is what. But we will. We most definitely will. So anyway, until next time, guys, remember, you only get one shot at this life. So live each day to the fullest, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. So until next week, I will see you all later, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone. See ya.
Thank you.